Hi, this is Adrienne from Step Up for Mental Health, and you are listening to Mental Talk. And I just wanted to do a quick podcast today, talking about a little bit of stress. We know that everyone is dealing with COVID-19 in the United States and across the globe, and I'm seeing a lot of anxiety and stress with friends, with family. Everyone is doing Zooms and Google Meets and Skypes to try to connect with the human being. I'm looking at some of the things that I've dealt with when we went into a depression, 2008 to 2012, when I lost my job for 2 years, and pretty much everyone was kind of suffering. In particular for me, I was in the tech field, and the first jobs to go is people, the consultants and the technology when it's a crisis. So I'm kind of seeing some of the same issues that's happening with my friends. I was on a Zoom group chat, trying to talk to friends, and a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and for me, who is an advocate for mental health as a peer facilitator, um, I recognize those signs. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about things that I had to deal with, and maybe that's some comfort that it's going to get better. You don't see it now. So when when you lose everything, when everything kind of like bottoms out, losing a job for 2 years. First year was some kind of glitch, and I couldn't get unemployment for 1 year. Savings was running low. You do a lot of things kind of go through your mind where you're how I'm going to pay for rent or mortgage, how I'm going to eat, um, all those things that can happen, and one of the reasons why I started founder of Step Up for Mental Health was because um, people didn't know how to help me. I was a person who always worked. I was a person who had education as far as my degree. I'm not higher, Um, I had tech savvy. I didn't have need any skills. A lot of programs out there when as we move into this kind of space where 10 million people are applying for unemployment, and unemployment happens even in 2010 to 12. They expanded those services, and I think they expanded it for 1 year extra. Um, and this not even that wasn't even global, but a lot of people were suffering then, and so this is going to get worse until it gets better. But on a positive note, it does get better. I mean, the bottom falls out, but and you can't see your way out of this position, whether it's job related or housing related or you know uh, stress related. And so, but I just will say that it will eventually end, and you can't see it, and you might be in a pit of despair. It could go on, 6 months, 9 months, a year. But there's the things that I kind of dealt with and had to, realize that it's okay to seek help. Like sometimes we fear of getting support outside of our own comfort level. I went to get the therapy for 2 years, 2.5 years after that, because it's a lot of things to kind of like lose control over things that you thought was you got this, you know. I've always worked, I always had my, you know, everything was always great. And if people, a lot of people who have never lost anything as far as jobs, and you know, some people lose jobs where they might lose a job for a couple weeks or a couple months, but this might be something where you might lose a job for a year. And so that's a different mindset and mind space that you have to kind of deal with, that you don't have that kind of tactile experience of going out to meet friends, or uh, socializing at a brunch, or going to the movies. I mean, even before, even if you didn't have a job, and you were looking for something, you know, you didn't have a computer, or you didn't have tools you need, there was always things like libraries, or you know, Starbucks. You could go to a coffee shop with your laptop and you know, search for jobs and stuff like that. But Starbucks is closed, and the library is closed, and all the things that we know is closed. So I think this is a time where I think everyone should start thinking how they can self-soothe in a way, how they can um, be content with who they are, that things and um, you know, things don't matter. You're gonna probably hear something working from my home office, and so there's noise all around. But you're gonna start to see um, that when it gets kind of the worst thing you can ever think, because that's the fear. The fear is always the thing that you don't know. And once you live that experience of when you're in that moment, and then it's past, you know, it's over, you kind of got out of the the mud of it, the hole, then you realize, oh, if I can deal with that, I can deal with every, you know, anything. And that's what a lot of people are probably going to be dealing with now. They've never had this type of loss. And loss means self-control, you know, control over what happens to you, you know, your fate, your destiny, your career, where you want to move in life. And I think that that's going to be a really difficult thing for a lot of people, most people, to deal with. But it does it does bring perspective about really what matters. People never, a lot of friends didn't understand that. I said, well, you know, I've been to that. I've dealt with a lot of stuff, and I don't fear. Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of you know, listen to the news too much. I think we all need to kind of like um, figure out how much news we can take. Maybe you want to do news in the morning, one time a day, or you want to do news at night. Maybe you do a 30-minute slot, and just to get all the information you need. Or maybe you can do it every 2 days, you know, every other day, so that you're not so overwhelmed, and really take the time to do things that you didn't have time to do. As a person who working with a nonprofit in mental health, my work has gotten more. So, but I think I'm we have to figure out what's going to make us happy, because this is a time where you might actually realize that the career that you had didn't even make you happy, or the people or relationships that you were, you know, connected with doesn't really um, make you happy anymore. So this is going to be like rediscovery for many people, really figuring out what's more important. Maybe family's going to be more important to you. Maybe relationships are going to be more important. Maybe breaking up relationships is going to be more important. But this is going to be a rediscovery across the globe, really. They said that in China, after they kind of like, you know, everything kind of decided and the curve went down, and a lot of divorce happened. I mean, divorce in itself is not a good or a bad thing. It's just a change. And and people, I find that when people say, "Oh, I'm glad I kind of moved past it," whatever that's happening with you, it could be a change that you didn't think that you needed, but you might need. So this is, I think, is going to be a reflection of people realizing that what they were doing before, it's not, they weren't even really happy. And so rediscover a lot of books. I think a lot of books are going to be created, a lot of podcasts are going to be created. A lot of YouTube channels are going to be created. A lot of blogs are going to be created. A lot of things. When I lost my everything for 2 years, I started, a blog. I started, just to wanted to write stuff and do things that I was really passionate about, which I started by network, which I wanted to kind of like help the bike community, um, kind of see themselves or see representation of that stuff like that. That was my passion. And I realized that I wasn't really so passionate about the media or, you know, representation in that sense as helping people. I was more into. I found out that when I was reaching out to people or talking to people, or people would reach out to me and wanted to talk about their lives, or some people were shut in. Seniors. I was talking to a lot of seniors who were lonely, and I realized that that's what I actually was passionate about. I was more passionate about mental health, particularly because I had a mother who had schizophrenia when I was born, and I was realized I'm passionate about mental health. And so you're gonna find out now. Of course, nonprofit life is not. You'll make you will make more money in technology or something like that more than you do with nonprofits in most cases. But I found that helping people and really giving people access to knowledge and information was something that I really liked, and helped in a bigger way. And so out of that discovery of losing everything, I can't even describe in one day, losing everything, home, job, relationships. A lot of things change when you also see that you had relationships where people knew you because of this thing, this job, this position. And some things, that stuff's going to be washed away, really. You're going to realize, you're going to find that relationship that you had, that's not what you were about anymore. And then you're going to be focused on something specific that's your thing, or something that you're passionate about. And then everybody that you knew, maybe that's not what they're passionate about in you. And you're going to find a lot of things change. So explore that, look at that, feel, get a sense of what you want to do now, because everything that might change, or everything that might come back and be the same. But that's going to be a discovery that everybody's going to go through. And I just kind of wanted you to reflect on, this is the time to really dig in to see, what do I want to do moving forward when the world changes, when the coronavirus is uh, a solution is found, when the buses start running, when the library's back open, when society and everybody's at Starbucks again, and everybody's at parties and events, and everything is back to normal. What's going to make you happy? What things or ideas or thoughts is going to sustain you? And I think that's a thing that we all need to take a really big look at, because you'll find that most things around you might not have changed, but you might have. And that's a good thing, I think. That's a good thing, to realize that maybe what you were doing is not a betterment for yourself or our community, or society as a whole. Humanity right now is being tested. And I'm not, I guess not really spiritual or anything that way, but I think that um, it's almost like a hiccup. The world is waking up to what's going to be important, and you're going to find out that everything that you were doing is not so important. So that's just my take for today. Um, Again, it's Adrienne from Step Up for Mental Health. Take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Please stay inside right now. And I would say also figure out how you're going to get cloth masks that are not going to take away from the caregivers that who really need them. And I want to just say thank you to all the first responders, the caregivers, people who are really risking their lives to help humanity. I think we really have to kind of give a shout out to them. And so to next time, we're going to do more of these. I'm going to have a guest coming up soon. We're talking about all types of topics on mental talk. And you might just hear me rambling about a thought and an idea. So hopefully you can listen in, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.